Is the government spraying dangerous chemicals over us from planes?
Well, when was the last time that you watched a jet leave a trail of white overhead and wondered what's in that plume? Whether it's something to enjoy, or maybe even something to be afraid of.
Could a strange substance found by a Southwest Arkansas man be part of a government test? Well, that's the question at the heart of a phenomenon called chemtrails, now getting widespread attention.
Mother Nature. Weather modification is a growing trend both here in Northern California and around the world. So does it work? And why do some people say it could do more harm than good?
These are literally crimes against humanity, nature and humanity.
We're all over right now today.
Yeah. What?
Okay, just point the camera right over there. About 4 or 5 of them right there. They've had patents on these formulas since the 90s.
We've seen aluminum-related illness go through the roof.
You think back really hard, before the 90s, we didn't have this in the sky. And I think the scariest thing of all is that Monsanto has a seed patent out to resist aluminum. They have lung infections, people are coming down with things, and it's just ridiculous. They're spreading, they're ruining our food chain through doing this.
How can you tell how much of that is from the chemtrails and how much of it is just from smog?
There's two kinds of trails that come out of planes. There's a contrail and there's a chemtrail. And the contrail is obviously condensation that evaporates. You watch the plane go by and then you watch it evaporate. Mm-hmm. And a chemtrail stays there and turns into a cloud. Mm-hmm. If you actually watch the sky, watch them lay the chemtrail, and then just watch that trail, you'll watch it dissipate into almost a cloud.
The question that needs to be asked is, what are they spraying and why?
Well, we're really not changing the overall picture of the weather in the Sierra Nevada, with the exception of causing a little more snowfall over some of the watersheds. 5 to 10% additional water on an annual basis.
PG&E uses what are basically big propane gas flares in the mountains. But others use different methods, including airplanes to scatter tiny particles of silver iodide to seed clouds.
Most of the watersheds of the Sierra Nevada are cloud seeded by someone.
Water districts, corporate farms, even private individuals all modify the weather with little oversight and no government restrictions.
We all need full disclosure. We need to know. Yeah. They're doing it under the guise of global warming. Okay, but it's time for us to have full disclosure.
Yeah,
I think they're doing it
to control
for control.
The weather.
Yeah,
and
then to therefore control the people, control the food,
agriculture. Yeah,
control the food, control the people, and yeah.
Is the idea of being able to engineer our lives on this very fragile and complex and interrelated and interconnected planet that's created the mess we are in. It's an engineering paradigm that created the fossil fuel age, that gave us climate change. And Einstein warned us and said you can't solve problems with the same mindset that created them. Geoengineering is trying to solve the problems with the same old mindset of controlling nature. And the phrase that was used of cheating, let's cheat. You can't cheat nature. That's something people should recognize by now. There is no cheating possible. Eventually, the laws of Gaia determine the final outcomes. These shortcuts that are attempted from places of power, and I would add places of ignorance, of the ecological web of life, are then creating the war solution, because geoengineering becomes war on a planetary scale with ignorance and blind spots, instead of taking the real path, which is helping communities adapt and become resilient. That's the work we do in India. We save the seeds that will be able to deal with sea level rise or cyclones, so that we have salt-tolerant varieties. We distributed them after the tsunami. Last year we had a monsoon failure, but instead of sending armies out, we distributed seeds, and the farmers who had seeds of millets had a crop. The farmers who were waiting for the green revolution chemical cultivation had a crop failure. So building resilience and building adaptation is the human response. It's the ecological response. And we don't have to panic. The panic and fear is coming out of ignorance.